Hey everybody, this is just a quick demo of the NavTool system I've installed on my 2008 Range Rover Sport L320. Notice as soon as we come in here, the Land Rover screen is showing up as though this is a factory system. It's one of the things I really liked about this. It keeps it nice and clean and factory looking. Doesn't look modified in any way. Now, my phone is not plugged in or anything. This is just a regular mount that sort of sticks into the CD tray. So this is completely wireless here. Once I turn on the ignition, bam, we boot right into Apple CarPlay. It's really nice and fast. Sometimes it can be a little slow. It really depends. Sometimes it gets a little bit temperamental, but for the most part, it's pretty good, pretty quick. If you're not already connected by the time you get in here, it usually takes a few seconds and then you're in. Despite this being an older screen, again, this is a 2008, it's not bad for responsiveness. So you have to click over here. I tend to use the tip of my fingernail to get in here just to hit these little dots. Generally, I keep all the stuff I use on the first page here in the first place. So just going into title, Waze integrates quite nicely, Spotify. Now, one of the really nice things about this, in terms of keeping things looking like they're factory, is this little button over here. If you press that, will actually take you back to the factory home menu. So I can get into 4x4 info from here. This is one of the big things that kept me from doing, other Android based head units that replace this whole center stack here, was that I wanted to maintain this factory functionality. This looks stock, and that's what I really appreciate about it. If I want to go back to CarPlay or Android Auto, whichever one I'm using, I can just hit this little nav button, which would normally take you to the nav system that was built in the 1980s by Atari. It wasn't really, but if you do need to get back to the system for whatever reason, you can press and hold this nav button here for a few seconds, and it'll kick you over to that. If we want to go back to the main screen here for the NavTool, you'll see we now have iOS, Android, Home, and Settings. So what this allows you to do, you can go into Settings when you're first setting up your phone to connect to wireless CarPlay or wireless Android Auto. You can change some settings about the UI. So I've got this little Land Rover green gradient over here. You can change that to whatever you like. You can change the language, audio settings. You can change if there's an inbuilt microphone for the purposes of taking phone calls through the vehicle. You can change some of the bass, treble, and then fade options, left and right, front and back. And you can also get your information here about your version and your factory reset. All in all, I'm a pretty big fan of this system. It was really easy to set up. I installed it in about half an hour, 45 minutes in the middle of the day when I was on my lunch break. And it's been a fantastic system for me. It's nice and reliable. The audio quality is really good. It does use the factory aux that's in the back of the center console. So you just want to make sure that you route that wire so it's nice and discreet and you don't have people in the back kicking it or anything. But yeah, that's basically how it works. It's a really fantastic system. It's not terribly expensive compared to some of the other options out there, and it's really not very labor intensive compared to some of the other options out there. So I hope this was a useful video, and yeah, hopefully this makes your buying choice a little bit easier when it comes to fitting one of these old beasts with some modern tech. Take care.